The 90s were a pretty good decade for tokusatsu. We had the return of Ultraman in the 90s with Ultraman Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia. Sentai was doing well, and this was the start of Power Rangers in 1995. In film, it was also doing well, with the Heisei Godzilla films and the Heisei Gamera trilogy. But Kamen Rider, we didn't really have any shows in the 90s, except Mass Rider. But we did have 3 Kamen Rider movies. Those 3 movies being Shin Kamen Rider, not that one, Kamen Rider ZO, and Kamen Rider J. So, let's talk about these 3 films. Let's first talk about the 1992 film, Shin Kamen Rider. Shin Kamen Rider is a pretty interesting film. Now, the most interesting thing about this movie is Shin himself. Shin as a character, he's alright, but his Kamen Rider form is really awesome, especially how he transforms. It gives me Wolfman vibes. I love his design very much. He definitely stands out in a crowd of Kamen Riders. And honestly, the best effect in this movie. The other characters, they're alright. Shin's girlfriend, they have a decent romance, I guess. And Shin's father and best friend are alright characters, and the villains are not too bad. Probably the second most interesting character is Unisuka, the other grasshopper man, just because he's so weird. Shin Kamen Rider is a pretty interesting movie, and I would say it's pretty good. Just not one of my favorite Kamen Rider movies. Now let's talk about the 1993 film, Kamen Rider ZO. Kamen Rider ZO is probably my favorite Kamen Rider movie, just because this movie is awesome and so fun to watch. I love ZO's and Hiroshi's brother type of relationship in this movie, and seeing Hiroshi find out about things about his father, how his father is not a good man and doing these horrible science experiments. ZO as a character, I do think is very interesting, but I wish we got to know more things about him. We don't even know his name. Something I noticed in this current rewatch, I noticed ZO has these black markings on his face in the flashback scene. It reminded me of the original Kamen Rider manga, because Hongo has these shoujo scars that throw up when he's under a lot of stress. Now, ZO's design is really cool looking to me. I love the gold highlights, it's just a really good looking suit. Now, Doris is a really good villain. I really like his design, he looks really creepy and horrifying. But easily the best effect in this movie is the spider launcher. This thing looks so cool, it's such good puppet work plus stop motion. Now, the Neo-Organism is a pretty creepy villain, I do really like them. Kamen Rider ZO is a really good movie. It has great pacing, amazing action scenes, and amazing effects. This is the movie I would recommend to newcomers for Kamen Rider. And finally, let's talk about the 1994 film, Kamen Rider J. Kamen Rider J is basically the Kamen Rider equivalent to Ultraman. And that's pretty cool. I do like Jay's powers, the fact he can grow giant. You know, I love Ultraman, so that's awesome. Jay as a character, he's not too interesting, kind of a basic hero. Now, Kamen Rider J's design looks pretty cool. He looks a lot like ZO, just with green highlights. And the villains designs, they all look really cool. And the Ford Mother is such a creepy villain, especially her babies. Those are nightmare fuel. So the effects in this movie, I would say it's really good. Kamen Rider J is a pretty okay movie. I do feel like this movie has problems. Like, I feel like the pacing is not that good, and the fight scenes kind of go on too long, and the characters don't really interest me. But I don't think Kamen Rider J is a bad movie at all. I still have a lot of enjoyment out of it. All 3 of these films are really good, but you probably can tell which one is my favorite, being Kamen Rider ZO. Sure, ZO is not as interesting than Shin Kamen Rider, but I love that film very much. How I would rank all 3 films? I probably would do ZO as my favorite, Shin Kamen Rider as my second favorite, and then third favorite would be J. These 3 films hold a better place to me because they helped me get into Kamen Rider. And if you have seen these 3 films, tell me down below which one is your favorite. But yeah, the 90s were a very interesting decade for tokusatsu.